welcome to our episode of Super Reaction Bros. I'm Christopher.
I'm Christopher.
And on today's episode, we're taking a look at the official trailer. We've been doing too many trailers today. We were taking a look at the newest Simpsons, this time for Everything Wrong with Ratatouille.
In 15 minutes or less.
That. So, what can we say about the movie that we already said? It's a Disney Pixar movie that's really good. It stars the voice of
Patton Oswalt
as Remy, a rat who inspires to be a professional cook, and it actually does an amazing job.
Yeah.
And that's all I got.
It's funny how they got him too, pretty much to voice him, and it's because he did a really good skit of when he was talking about food and the way he described food. They listened to it and they're like, and it was like, it had a lot of like curse words. He's like, you want me to do that and what? And they're like, no. We just loved that bit that it was like we thought you'd be great for this character. Yeah. You know, that's why they thought he would do a great job overall.
He does a good job overall.
Oh yeah, he does a phenomenal job.
I thought this was a very well done movie. This is a Pixar movie. It's a Pixar movie. What can we say else about it? So let's see what fuck's wrong with it.
Yeah, we already know that pretty much they're probably gonna dodge the hugest question going
CDC?
Exactly, and why hasn't anybody seen, okay, this guy goes from one thing to 180 when it comes to cooking, so they're probably gonna bring up those main things, but probably can go over a lot of small things that we probably did not realize or did not notice. So again, let's dive into this for Everything Wrong with Ratatouille in 15 minutes or less. So here we go.
Definitely one thing they're gonna what?
And here we go.
One thing they're gonna definitely bring up is hit play. I'll talk a bit before.
The queuing out.
Oh, the queuing out. Why did you say that? No, but I think one thing I'll bring up is how does that work with his hair?
We French know the truth. The best food in the world is made in France.
Franco-Philic propaganda is scored by an overture about Russia's victory over the French army. Confused yet? Also, anime narration.
First of all, I'm a rat, which means life is hard.
That's racist.
That's
I have a
racist.
developed sense of taste and smell.
But what is it that led to Remy's nose being so good? It can't be his love of food alone. There has to be a genetic reason or explanation, right?
Turns out that funny smell was rat poison. Suddenly Dad didn't think my talent was useless.
I agree that it was sudden. It was only 30 seconds ago that you were telling me about your talent and your dad not respecting it. Now here we are. And yes, that was fast.
We gotta cook this. Now exactly how we cook this is the real question.
Why are the rats only hanging around this one house? Is it really enough to sustain an entire colony? How the hell is this one elderly woman producing so much garbage?
You think that maybe we shouldn't be so...
Mother Nature goes caviezeling and these rats get blasted off a roof and into the plot-fulfilling situation. Also, holy they survived.
He's gonna wake up.
These guys tasted a thing and then decided it needed only saffron to be perfect. Then realized this lady had saffron, I think. Then decided to steal her saffron so they could experience the perfect bite. And honestly, this convoluted reasoning is flimsier than most Bugs Bunny cartoons.
That's true.
You read?
Not sure if I should be more shocked at Remy reading or the brother only just now realizing Remy can read. Or even knowing what reading is.
And the broken-hearted chef died shortly afterwards.
He got his first bad review, then literally died from it. How sensitive was this dude? I've gotten hundreds of thousands of bad reviews.
I forgot about that. He died because of a bad review.
Hand-drawn maps leading me to dangerous locations, but none of them has caused me to die of sadness. Somehow pulling the trigger on this gun opens the umbrella that's stuck in the barrel, because movie frequently forgets how to physics. Also, seriously? The sight of a couple rats causes Granny to immediately reach for the shotgun? She'd rather destroy her house at a rate of fire than...
That's true.
Broom? Damn, this old lady gun stores more impossible shells than an action movie villain. If these rats were all living in this woman's attic before now, that was not made clear. So Remy felt his dish needed saffron, and he robbed the old lady's house for it, which caused a chain reaction that led to the entire rat clan being washed away all the way to Paris. And none of that is ever addressed again. The movie wanted to get everyone to Paris and decided to show it to us, but it meant nothing. No one is mad at Remy when they meet up later on. Everyone adjusts fine to Paris. I suppose
it's just like how rats work.
Version of
It's just another place to live.
Killed via negligence. But this whole opening is really meaningless. How the hell is that book readable after taking that long-ass trip in the storm sewer?
Oh,
My
the
copy
wet.
of 50 Shades of Grey was ruined after I walked through the rain.
You don't have that.
Holy did movie just seriously yada yada this confrontation?
Yeah, no point.
Regular occurrence in Paris? Man, Francis
This is
weird.
weird.
The sequence of the camera following Remy as he explores Paris is awesome. Really
Oh, yeah.
worthy of a sin removal. But it makes me wonder how the hell Remy knows exactly where to go at all times without ever stopping to see which way to turn.
All this time, I've been underneath Paris?
Movie inadvertently writes the most salacious Gilmore Girls fan. Also, luckily for Remy and the plot, he emerged directly on a perfect view of the city to confirm his location. I mean, it's better than an obvious title card, but still.
Cousteau's? You've led me to your restaurant.
Lottery odds? I mean, here is a rat that loves Gusteau's cookbooks and suddenly finds himself swept into Paris and right to the doorstep of Gusteau's. And this is so unrealistic, the Justice League mustache team sent a congratulations.
Wow.
Mother,
She died. That's right, kids. We killed off 2 characters in the first 20 minutes of this movie. Jesus, even Die Hard didn't have this body count so soon.
You've read my book. Let us see how much you know, huh? Which one is the chef?
This entire scene of Remy identifying all the various kitchen workers, all very important, is purely expositional. Later on, this ghost is going to tell Remy he's not real, and Remy is talking to himself, so he's just proving to himself here how smart he is. But mostly he's letting the audience know. Movie notwithstanding, it takes a kitchen full of employees ignoring an entire station for several minutes in order for this magical plot-propelling soup to even begin to get made in the first place. Which is even more damning since Remy pointed out that this was the Saucier's workstation. Where does f***ing Saucier go, huh? Extended cigarette
true.
break?
That's true.
Wait, this is France. Also, he grabs this piping hot pot of soup with no ill effects.
Oh, that's
Yes,
true
it does.
too. It's like it's not hot.
I mean, I could say this at virtually any point in this movie, but how do all these assholes not notice this obvious rat? Man, this scene gets dangerously close to a bad Tom and Jerry episode. Some rat
Some rat shit.
Dude, all Linguini did was add some water, garlic, and leeks to the soup, so why is it immediately nauseating? Without soap, this act is meaningless. Even more so for rats than humans. Rats carry the f***ing plague, guys. He dumps that entire container of broth into his soup without any spills or issues, even though the movie already showed this soup was nearing the top of its container and would definitely overflow if a gallon
That
of
is
broth was
true.
thrown out.
What are you playing at?
I'd like to point out that this guy is basically the primary villain in this movie, but even he just immediately admits and accepts that this soup is rad. And a true asshole would have called it disgusting and refused to ever let Linguini cook again. Instead, this guy knows the soup rules, but he can't accept the fact that Linguini cooked it, because he didn't. This guy gets a bad rap. I'm
Yeah.
the movie for not making this villain more villainy. Also, I'm pretty sure a simple security camera would solve almost all this movie's conflict.
I'm surprised there is a security.
Yeah.
In his station, and Linguini would keep his job as garbage boy once everyone saw the rat was the one that messed with the soup. Done and done. This is a modern movie, right? And one of the most famous, high-end, expensive restaurants in Paris. But
Yeah, no camera, no
Not even to
cameras.
safeguard the expensive wines and other high-end ingredients.
Responsible boy.
I guess Linguini trained at the esteemed Mario Batali culinary school.
Oh.
Is this how you keep a restaurant at 4 stars? There's literally only a swinging double door separating you and the customers, and you are screaming. Wait, when did he punch a triangular air hole in this lid, and why? And does he just carry a f***ing can opener on his person at all times?
have you been nodding?
Remy can understand English, but he can't speak. And we're all speaking English.
That
even
is
though
the
we're
most
Paris?
confusing
Movie
part about the
Yada Yada's over
movie.
the solution
Yeah.
to the language barrier here so hard that even 6-year-olds came out asking their parents what the f*** was going on.
I can't cook. Can I?
Awesome! So we've immediately undermined the central premise of the movie by determining our secondary protagonist is unable to do what Gusteau says anyone can do.
Hey, they like the soup. Ah!
I like
They
this.
like the soup.
Linguini fell into the goddamn Seine River, survived it, found the jar that Remy was in, rescued him, and climbed out of the Seine in record time. Why can't we see that story? An uncoordinated asshat keeps losing jobs and can't do anything and has no money and lives in this tiny cramped apartment, and you expect me to believe he takes up valuable kitchen shelf space with a goddamn soccer ball? Okay,
Oh.
beep, beep, beep. This whole apartment has this view, and this failure of a citizen can afford it. Good thing I hope got a good night's sleep last night instead of trying to figure out any sort of plan for pulling off the ruse today.
Recreate the soup. Take as much time as you need. All week if you must.
Couldn't Skinner just demand the recipe? Or if he wanted to keep Linguini honest, wouldn't he just stand here and watch him make it? This is the culinary version of a Bond villain leaving him to die without doing it himself.
Oh, here we
This
go.
is not gonna work, little chef. I'm gonna lose it if we do this anymore.
No one overhears Linguini screaming at the top of his lungs about the rat he brought into the restaurant. And before you say that he's in the walk-in and it would be soundproof, I'll remind you that Jack Torrance was able to easily communicate with multiple people outside of it in The Shining.
I'm just
That's true.
familiarizing myself with vegetables.
One can get too familiar with vegetables, you know.
This is actually a pretty good adult joke, subtly thrown in, but it also means that at some point Skinner definitely stuck a cucumber up his ass. The whole rest of the movie kind of hinges on this, but this is some bull.
It is
Suddenly
bullshit.
pulled 2 strands of your hair, the last thing you would do is raise both arms in unison with said hair strands. This takes so long to learn, I'm surprised it's not snowing outside already.
Congratulations.
You were able to repeat your accidental success.
This is verbatim what my college girlfriend said to me after our second time.
Chinese food? Chinese.
I haven't seen marketing this blatantly racist since H&M's last campaign. Also, I never understood this. Just because he became head chef at this restaurant, and even if he owns the restaurant, how did Gusto dying transfer the Gusto likeness rights to this f***er?
There are only two ways the gift was picked. Grow it yourself or bribe.
Oh no, it's Larry. Larry finds out that the rights go to him.
Yeah.
His
Dalton,
Next of kin.
Yeah.
has prepared something special for them. Something definitely off menu.
I mean, I know Skinner's trying to get Linguini in trouble, but he's throwing the entire restaurant under the bus to do it, and why would he want him out anyway? His lawyer just told him it's better to keep an eye on him while he's on the staff.
Don't mind me, I'm gonna...
Okay, I've held it in as long as I can. The way Brad Bird creates Linguini's physical comedy is
Perfection, yeah.
Hey, two sins up.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sure this is a great dish, but the entire restaurant's gonna order the same thing. Just based on looks, it looks like a goddamn pancreas covered in a brown sauce. It's kind of amazing Remy's shadow hasn't betrayed him before now. It is the City of Lights.
Remy!
A meal?
I can't believe it! Why?
What I can't believe is that Remy is anywhere near the colony, considering the sewer split up just after they left the countryside. So there would be no f***ing way they'd both end up in Paris, especially anywhere near each other.
Remy, you are stealing.
He's just now stealing. What about all that Linguini gave him for dinner?
Have you ever had a pet rat?
No.
Did you work in a lab with rats?
Nope.
How is Linguini this cool about keeping his secret? He's a wreck in the best of circumstances. And if he's drunk, he would totally spill the beans.
Hey, why did they call it that?
What?
Ratatouille.
Roll rodents.
Rodents.
I am deeply and truly offended by these musical instruments. Come with me.
I got something I want you to see.
You better come take a look at this cliche. What kind of shop would advertise their rat traps with actual dead f***ing rats hanging in the window?
That's
Is this
true.
a good strategy? Like, the customers walk by and say, well, I was just going to let those fellas live, but I guess if those traps are that good, we've got to buy one. Also, is this really an entire store that's dedicated to killing rats? This works even while he's sleeping? Wake up, wake up! Even in a movie about an English understanding Michelin star worthy rat chef in Paris, this Linguini doesn't wake up crap is asking too much of my suspension of disbelief.
He's up.
I love that.
Your brain.
Yeah, why is it so hard to talk to you?
You don't have to talk at all. If you're that committed to telling Colette the truth, just take off your f***ing hat.
Exactly.
Awesome. Glad to see this badass female chef eventually fall for a forced kiss. Seriously, movie, you could have left this love story out with no difference to the overall movie. I realize you have a little coffin imagery going on, and that's fun.
That's true. I never
Yeah,
noticed
it
that
is.
before.
Not on any of these side walls, but sound-reducing panels. There's no functional reason for the size or shape of this office, which suggests the character just loved coffins and wanted a coffin office. And that takes the fun out of the imagery, much like the way I take the fun out of movies. Rat with hair and Linguini with willpower fight over the use of his arm. I originally wrote that as a description of the footage so our editors would know what I wanted here, but then I realized it perfectly summed up why this is stupid and annoying. I mean, does Linguini not realize that his hat fell off? Does he not care? I know he's in love, but he also knows that Remy is the sole reason for his success.
Hey, Remy, how you doing?
The entire movie has been telling us that the Rat Clan doesn't give a shit about what they eat, and that Remy was the only outlier. So why would there be a big demand from the other rats about trying Remy's food?
If Chef Fancy Pants had any ideas, you think I'd be hacking barbecue over here? A microwave burrito? Yeah, or toothpick and chicken?
You know, 15% of this movie is Remy talking to figments of his imagination.
Why would Linguini be filed with your will?
This used to be my office.
Classic not answering the question. You know, when you get down to it, Ratatouille is just an expanded episode of those Are You the Dad episodes on Maury. It takes this long for a motorized scooter to catch up with a goddamn rat. But why not just stay on the roof? There's no way for Skinner to get up there. And this is a boat. There's really nowhere to go. I know this is an interesting story, but is the ownership of a local restaurant really
I love the
page
face.
news? How about promoting the dock worker strike? That seems important. Why the hell wouldn't Remy just ask Linguini for the food for his family? He's the f***ing owner now, right? They could supply the whole clan for very little overhead. I find her being a terrible, floppy, awkward skater, and Linguini, aka Pratfall Jones, being smooth as butter on skates, to be one of this movie's biggest and most insulting reaches.
Some part of me just knew. The Gusto part?
Remy will now grab a tuft of hair on the left side of Linguini's body, but it will cause Linguini's right arm to make a movement. This is probably done because the right hand happens to be on the left side of his body right now, and it makes more visual sense to the viewer this way. But it's definitely how the movie is shown.
Yeah, it's the way it's like very specific.
Tomorrow night with high expectations.
Why'd you give Linguini the heads up? Isn't the whole thing with food critics that they sneak up on you? I thought they
That's
even
true.
wore disguises and...
You're stealing food? What? How could you? I thought you were my friend.
Jeez, how many times do we have to see the characters fight over a contrived reason before the movie's climax cliche? So Linguini's having nightmares about Ego's visit, because, you know, he and the rat are on the outs. And somehow, despite having physically done all the acts of cooking and watching it all with his eyeballs, he apparently never picked up any actual know-how.
Tell him to hit me with his best shot.
Never a good look for a critic to set his opinion prior to experiencing the thing he's here to critique.
Yeah.
This would be like Leonard Maltin strolling into a screening of Ant-Man and the Wasp, barking out, let's get this over with.
Damn.
Whatever he is having.
This disguise and fake voice would not fool a single person that works here. At the restaurant where this guy was the boss for a long time. How does this get solved if the car isn't conveniently parked under several freestanding gargoyles? I realize France has a lot of gargoyles, compared to America at least. But goddamn, are they everywhere? These are the most convenient gargoyles ever. And Disney made a movie with gargoyles that were sentient. I seriously think Betty Crocker has a solid copyright infringement case against the publishers of Gusteau's cookbook. They used blue instead of red and added some fleur-de-lis. But in terms of design elements, it's an open and shut case. Holy, this dude gets a raw-ass deal in this movie. Getting punished just for doing his job. He's treated worse than David Paymer in Ocean's 13.
Oh, that's
true.
Something as compensation at the end of the movie. Cute visual, but again, the problem with rats in the kitchen isn't literal dirt. It's disease and bacteria, but whatever.
Oh, this
yes.
part. I love this part.
This moment is the best of Pixar encounters.
Yeah, pure joy for the character.
Translates as pure joy for the viewer. See Illumination? You don't have to rely on f***ing fart jokes in a kid's movie.
Thank you. Yeah.
His review appears.
Jesus, he was there until after closing. No way a dude that old works on a deadline that early.
In many ways, the work of a critic is easy.
Damn, this is our third narrator in this movie.
We thrive on negative criticism, which is fun to write and to read.
Dude just unknowingly wrote our mission statement.
Had to let Skinner and the health inspector loose.
And somehow never encountered any legal or ethical issues for abusing and imprisoning them. Ha ha, what a ripping good yarn that abduction story
But
is.
what is he gonna say? A bunch of rats kidnapped me?
Surprise me!
And rats were never considered vermin again, and swarmed into kitchens around the world.
The end. Not bad.
91?
Wait.
We got this rat, this annoying.
Departed.
Right.
What I say is true.
It rubs the lotion on
the skin.
Else gets
It's
the
a hose
hose
again.
Pure poetry.
Stepped without looking and tumbled into.
Oh, La La Land.
Damn, bacon tastes good. Pork chops taste good.
Hey, sewer rat may taste like pumpkin pie, but I'd never know because I wouldn't eat the filthy motherfuckers.
Give me a fucking failure pile in a sadness bowl. That's what I want.
So Dad gave me a job. Clean.
Hey, why am I the poop checker?
Ella.
Kicking my ass. Divine!
Creamy, salty, sweet, and oaky nuttiness.
It was jammy, plummy, dense, and chewy. As a CinemaSins fan, you clearly know a thing or two about high-quality entertainment. But have you ever considered working in the entertainment industry?
This is more of
Job in
a...
Hey, Chris,
That's all it is, yeah. But they hit a lot of good points. They did.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff about how he controls him.
Yeah.
And the CDC stuff, which, I'll be honest, there's no ethical issue. There's no issues about what happened because what is that appearing a group of rats kidnapped you. A group of rats kidnapped you. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, for the most part, that's the only real one that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And I kind of gave a couple of sins off for the actual pure Pixar moment.
It's like, and you've noticed that in CinemaSins, they do that where it's like, the way Pixar just knows how to do certain scenes, they do it so beautifully well. That's why I love how he's like, the way they shot this scene or this or that, is like, it puts the other films, like I said, for Illumination with all these fart jokes, stuff like that, to shame, pretty much.
But of course, yeah, it's now without sin, especially like with the rats, the whole like the shop window full of dead rats and stuff like that. It's a bit much. But overall, yeah, even the old lady with the shotgun, that was a bit ridiculous too.
So. It was a little over dramatic and things like that, but
definitely,
overall, it's great.
And definitely check out Incredibles 2, which should be in theaters by the time this video comes out.
It's already out now, let's put it that way.
Yeah, so other than that, if you're new to the channel, you can hit the like button if you want to talk some more about stuff like this. Comment down below if you want to share us around, share it around, and if you like us just a little bit more than anybody else when it comes to talking about Ratatouille, hit the subscribe button down, or CinemaSins in general.
Yeah, that's
Hit that subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon as well.
Let us know what you guys thought of this CinemaSins. If you think they missed any good parts or you have any more input, let us know what your input would have been. What am I hearing you guys' thoughts? Put that down below. Put down your favorite part, why you love Ratatouille, what made you so fan or akin to it, pretty much. We want to hear any type of those type of stories or anything like that. You know me, I'm a Pixar guy myself. I mean, I love animation overall, no matter what studio it is. But I still, you know, for me, my preference has always been Pixar. They've had their hiccups lately, but you know what? They've been trying to bounce back up overall. But let us know what you guys thought of this. Love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Put down what you thought of our reaction overall. But most importantly, thank you for watching.
So until next time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Christopher.
And this has been a very rat-filled episode of SRB.
See ya.
Later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
If you want to check out our previous reactions,
as well as our other shows,
click the playlist down below.
And if you want to check us out in the social universe,
you can check us out on Twitter,
as well as Stardust,
@SuperReactBros.